When I was a Freemason, and in fact, after I did my 3rd degree in the Blue Lodge, I remember this. This was 1995 or 6.
I did not know you were a former Freemason.
I was, and I'm like, hey, let's do this. And they're like, you can't do that. What are you doing? You just swore an oath. What's wrong with you? I'm like, crud, I've been a 3rd degree for 30 seconds, and already they're trying to evoke the oath to have me killed. And, when it comes to the 33rd degree, here's what I'll say about that.
By the way, my name is Joe McClane. I host a radio program called A Catholic Take, where we look at the world through a Catholic lens. I'd love for you to hang out with us. If you like it, give it a thumbs up and let us know what you think in the comments below.
I had people messaging me because at the inauguration, Eric Trump was very bored looking, standing, watching, and he put his hands in front of himself. And people are like, that's a Freemason hand sign he's making. I'm like, guys, Freemasons will make hand signs for you to say. Freemasons and handshakes. Get your conspiracy theories right, please.
Yeah.
It's other groups do hand signs, but they don't have hand signs.
Yeah.
They don't.
And,
okay,
Freemasons, they weren't as part of New York high society, which would have included the Freemasons. They were famously made fun of by everybody.
I got in trouble when I was a Freemason, and in fact, after I did my 3rd degree in the Blue Lodge, I remember this. This was 1995 or 6.
I did not know you were a former Freemason.
I was 3rd degree Master Mason. I repented when I became Catholic, and threw away all of my accoutrement, including my apron, all of that. So you do get taught some hand signals. There is this one. In fact, this is the one I got in trouble for. You can't see me because I'm in there you go. There's this. In fact, I did my 3rd degree.
Does that walk like an Egyptian?
I've seen like kids on TikTok and those kind of videos doing that. That looks like suspiciously like dabbing, and people are like.
So we were supposed to we were gonna take like a group photo with me and like the worshipful master, and then my dad was there, and I'm like, hey, let's do this, and they're like, you can't do that. What are you doing? You just swore an oath. What's wrong with you? I'm like, crud, I've been a 3rd degree for 30 seconds, and already they're trying to evoke the oath to have me killed. It's like, that was fast. That didn't take long. So there's that one. There's a I forget exactly how it goes, but there is like an emergency signal where you are evoking the widow's son, and it's like this motion, and and so that one.
Here's the thing: if I see somebody do that, I just think they're Italian. Right.
That's great. There is a legend that says Santa Anna, you evoked this emergency widow's son at the Battle of San Jacinto in order to have his life spared because he was incognito. He had gotten rid of his uniforms to pretend to be a regular soldier, and he was outed. And he used this in order to signal to say, "Hey, don't kill me." Yeah. And Sam Houston, who was also a Freemason, let him go, or leveraged him to negotiate for the freedom of Texas. So it's very interesting. So there are some hand signals the Freemasons do teach. As far as the handshake goes, this is another one that I see a lot of people who aren't familiar with the Freemasons all that much to misconstrue. So when a Freemason shakes hands, one of the things you got to think about is the index finger. It goes right between those knuckles. But there is your hand is almost in like a claw. It's a very awkward thing. I've not done it in years, obviously, since I left the church left the church. I came into the church in 90. I became Catholic in 99. And so anyway, you were looking for that. You're looking for that pointer finger in between those first two knuckles, and it's like a claw-like shape. It's a weird thing. So there's a few handshakes out there.
The hand signal everybody said he was doing was this, except it was he was standing there, so it was at his belt.
That's not Freemason.
That's not Freemasonry, and he was standing there looking very bored, like, just casually leaning back doing that, and people are like. Now, the same people who said that were also some of the same people who literally believe there are lizard people who live at the center of the earth, reptiloids who run the world behind the scenes. If you believe that, seek help.
Hey, I've seen the documentary film Journey to the Center of the Earth.
You've seen
with
that?
James Mason,
yeah,
and Pat Boone.
I've seen the clearly AI generated pictures allegedly from the next Jurassic World movie that have reptile people in it. That means it's real.
That means it's real. Hey, Angie.
The Slee stacks.
Angie points out in addition to throwing out the items, do people leaving the lodge need priestly deliverance prayers? Yes, I would agree. You should go to a priest and make a good and valid confession, and you should ask the priest to pray over you. And I know Father Ripperger has prayers in his deliverance prayers book that you can pray. I've prayed those. I purchased that book myself. I prayed those, especially the generational prayers that are involved with Freemasonry. I prayed those prayers. So yeah, you should do that. You should make use as much as possible of all of the sacraments and sacramentals of Holy Mother Church, especially in light of all of our past sins. So I definitely would recommend that. Desi Gilly 68. I hope I'm saying that right. You didn't answer the Mason level question. 33 is the highest level, right?
Oh.
Anyway, moving on. No, I'm teasing. I didn't see the question to begin with. I was just playing coy. I didn't see it to begin with, so I'm glad you asked. I'd recommend this book right here if you're looking for great information on the Catholic Church's position and what Freemasons have been up to over the centuries. This is a fantastic book, The War of the Antichrist with the Church and Christian Civilization. Tan Books, tanbooks.com publishes it. It was edited by Joshua Charles. I did a great interview with him. It's on my YouTube channel. You should check it out. Fantastic book, very descriptive. And, you know, when it comes to the 33rd degree, here's what I'll say about that. There's a lot of just internet chatter about it that people toss about. And there's a lot of times the Catholics will talk about Masons with not a lot of real information about Masonry. And they just sort of assume things a part of the conversation. And here's the risk of that. When you do that, and if you're trying to evangelize a Mason, for instance, let's say you have an uncle, a cousin, or a neighbor, a coworker who's in the Masons, and you're trying to evangelize them, and you should, by the way, and you start throwing that conspiracy theory stuff out there, they're just going to look at you like you have 18 heads and not listen to anything else you have to say. And they're going to tune out because it's going to be clear that you don't know what you're talking about. So I would just urge caution when really diving into things like the 33rd degree, for instance. That's why I'd recommend this book. It's great information, highly factual. But when it comes to 33rd degree, there's a mystery behind the 33rd degree. If you talk to most Freemasons, they'll haven't the slightest clue about the 33rd degree. They've never even heard of it, and they don't know anything about it. Now, the 32nd degree is it's not like you start at degree 1 like I did, and then you go through 33 degrees. That's not really how it works. There's 3 degrees in the Blue Lodge. And once you get to the master level degree, which is the 3rd degree in the Blue Lodge, then if you want to continue on, you can do things like the Yorkshire Rite, the Scottish Rite. You can go and you can get the nice fancy hats and drive the little cars,
The fez.
you know, for the hospitals. You can there's all kinds of different branches that are related, you know, sort of tangentially related to the Freemasons and the Blue Lodge. And then you can get to the 33rd degree. But you went from 3rd degree Master Mason to 33rd. There was no in between, you know? So, like, keep that in mind. And as far as the 33rd degree, it's speculative at best on what is and what is not involved. But I would say this would be the good book to go to really get more solid information about the more nefarious elements of Freemasonry, especially in Europe. Less so in America, but especially in Europe. And Mexico is a bad one too, where you have the Illuminati and those types of fringe groups who are happy to use and abuse their cousins in the Freemasonry in order to attack Holy Mother Church and prepare for the world of the Antichrist. This would be the book I would recommend for that cause.
Yeah, enough about all the Masonic rites. Let's discuss the Masonic wrongs.
Yeah, the Shriners. Thank you.
We need a collection of papal writings on Freemasonry for that one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, there are some good ones.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, my understanding of the stuff regarding the various degrees is that after the 3rd degree, all of the other stuff they're bought degrees. If you have the money, then you can buy your next degree and you just keep paying in. And they're honorary to a certain extent, but there's also this idea that, okay, you've got this inner club that comes with the 33rd degree, and that it may be true. I do know that Adam Weishaupt was putting together the inner degrees of Freemasonry when he created the Illuminati. And so he was recruiting from those higher degrees because they were obviously people of influence and people of means. So that was the impetus behind it. But it had nothing to do with, well, you've earned this certain special post that now you're the chosen one.
Right.
No, it's not really what it is. It's just, it's being able to buy and use influence is what it's all about.
Yeah. And that's basically what this book talks about.
Yeah. It's also worth noting that historically the church objected to the Freemasons for a lot of reasons, but one of them was that they were driving force for secularism. That's what they seemed to, because they were trying to destroy the church, and they do that by killing belief. Well, they were so successful that they have a hard time recruiting now. That's the problem.
Right.
Like, for them, is that they've reduced themselves to like a dad's club for the most part. Of course, I'm not going to deny that there are Masons out there still doing Mason things, but they've been a little too successful for themselves, and it's hurting their own ability to recruit. And that is such a sad thing to see when people reap the rewards of their own or the consequences of their own actions. And in this case, maybe their organization will become just kind of a joke, like kind of a Lions Club, and even Lions Clubs like Freemason adjacent anyway.
Yeah,
the
there's
more
a lot of
dangerous element of Freemasonry is ecclesiastical Freemasonry, because once you have bishops that are involved in that particular club, then their actions and their decision making is predicated on undermining the authentic teachings of the church. That's where it's the most dangerous.
Yeah,
right. I'm more worried about the St. Gallen Mafia and the Lavender Mafia than I am the Freemasons, because those organizations have every reason to want to remain secretive and manipulate the church. Completely. The other ones, they don't need to. We live on planet Freemason already.
Did you like that video? It's okay. You can admit it. It's perfectly fine. Hey, we cover the big stories of our day, from inside the church to outside the church to all points in between, and we do it from a Catholic perspective. It's called A Catholic Take. It's a radio program Monday through Friday. We live stream it right here on this channel, by the way, so make sure to subscribe, like, and share. We would be very grateful to you. And don't forget, you're going to want to watch this video right here because you don't want to miss anything.